Welcome to Living from the Heart. I am your host, Tina Thrussell, also known as Woman Who Dances with Light. I am a spiritual healer, a certified sound wellness practitioner, a NIA teacher, a facilitator of workshops, seminars, and retreats, the co-founder of Best You Can Be, and most importantly, a messenger of the Shin Dao, the way of the heart. The way of the heart is the way of living with love, kindness, and compassion. And this philosophy permeates every aspect of my life and my work. And I'm delighted that my work includes hosting this show and inviting beautiful people to come and share inspiring conversations about living from the heart. And I actually spoke to my guest today for the first time, just the 10 minutes before we came onto the show. But I was first exposed to her through my husband Neil's show, Uplift. I heard Adele speaking on the Uplift show, and I just loved her passion for life, her philosophy, the way she looks at life. And I thought, yes, I have to have this woman on the Way of the Heart show. So I sent her a message and she said, oh, I'd be thrilled to be on your show. And so in the first 10 minutes that we connected, I knew it was the right choice. We did connect. And I am delighted to bring Adele on the show. She is a professional artist. And only in the last little while left the 9-to-5 world to pursue her art after 6 years of being a hobby artist. Oh, it's going to be one of those mornings. And she's just passionate about sharing the beauty of nature, divine connection. And there was something else on the list that I'm going to ask her to fill in. So without further ado, I welcome Adele Campbell to the show. Oop, there we go. Good morning, Adele.
I'm so honored to be here. Thank you for having me, Tina.
Oh, thank you for agreeing to be here. So you love to share the beauty of nature, divine connection, and
I'm running a blank there too.
that's funny. Oh, well, people can read it in the description, right? Something about the passion of living life fully, something along those lines, or something.
Just got my phrase is guided by passion, inspired by nature, created through the heart. So
Oh, yeah, created through the heart. Well,
yeah,
no wonder passion comes from our heart. That's where I was getting that from.
Yeah.
So tell us, it's a brave thing to step into the world of art.
Mm-hmm.
And an even braver thing to give up the 9-to-5 and say, I'm going to claim this. I'm an artist. I'm going to do this full time.
Yeah.
So what propelled you into that? What allowed you to make that decision?
I'm so happy that you asked. It's funny because the word bravery came up in my conversation with Neil and Jamie as well. And it's something that I never even considered because what propelled me into stepping into myself and myself as an artist was unfortunately a tragic loss. But it ended up being the most beautiful thing that I have ever experienced in my whole life because I've always had this feeling in myself, in my heart, that what I was doing wasn't exactly right and that I needed to do more. And it needed to be heart based. And it's always been this calling from my heart, like, do this, do this. And I never knew what it was. And just, the journey that life takes you on leads you to these moments. And, I looked after this incident, I had to come back into myself. And from there, it just blossomed. And I realized that this is exactly who I am and who I need to be. And I could no longer fake being someone in a 9-to-5 role and show up at the beginning I would be excited at every new role, but once you get into the mundane, and my heart was just like, this is not right. This is not it yet. Keep searching. So it began the search for me, and then my truth was just so pure and in front of me that I could no longer. The bravery of it was that the risk of staying in the mundane was far outweighed the risk it would take to just be myself.
That's beautiful. And that's common. Most of my guests have stepped out of some kind of corporate life into an alternate life,
Mm-hmm.
and they all say the same thing. It just got to the point where it was stealing too much of my life to stay there.
Yeah,
And if I was
yeah,
going to start living, then I had to follow that calling of my heart.
that's right.
Yeah. And as you were speaking and you said blossoming into it, it drew my attention to that beautiful painting behind you. And I thought, that's exactly as you were describing your journey. I felt like
Hmm.
that painting was your journey. There you are in the
It
middle, and
is. It is. That's
oh,
exactly
here we
why
go.
I have it there. This is my little meditation corner, and I did this at the beginning of my journey, and so it is truly that.
Oh, that's very cool. I love that I picked up.
Hmm.
And no, folks, we did not pre-discuss this. We
No.
purposely didn't talk about that painting because I wanted it to be real and live in the moment, my reaction. And yeah, it's just you, and it's so beautiful,
Yes,
just
it
like
is.
you.
I call them flower bombs because I do many, but it is literally just the emotion, the raw emotion of all of the energy that I have just exploding onto
Mm.
the canvas.
And I love that the fact that from the core, from the center, is this beautiful bright yellow, and
Yeah.
that is the core color that goes out. Because for me, yellow is bright and sunny and
Yes,
joyful, and it's powerful, right? In the chakra system, that's our power center, that yellow
it is.
chakra. So it's a big statement, claiming your power and being joyful as a result of claiming that power.
Yeah, and it truly does say all of those things. And it's funny because um, I actually painted this right after I did a meditation, so it was as if even more so it was coming through me so powerfully. And yellow is my favorite color. I use it in everything mostly that I paint.
There it is. Oh, beautiful, beautiful, beautiful.
Mhm. Thank
Oh,
you.
and there it is, that noise in the background. My apologies if anyone can hear that. I intended to turn that off and I didn't. There it is. So, so this journey of becoming a professional painter, what does that look like? What does your day look like? How does following your heart unfold?
A lot of the time, the paintings that I do they do directly come from my love of nature. And so, I will be inspired by a moment that I share with an insect or an animal, or in my dreams, sometimes they show up, and from that, I know that they desire to be painted. And then each right now I'm doing a series called Essence of Spirit, and it is moments that I've shared with nature throughout my life that just show up. It could be a moment that I share now or a moment that I've shared in the past, and it just it kind of intuitively comes to me that this is the next painting.
Beautiful. A true go with
Mhm.
the flow.
Yeah. And so most of the time before I paint, I do take a moment to meditate and really just center myself in my heart to make sure that what I'm doing, um, because, not every single one turns out perfectly, but just to make sure that I'm not just sitting down to paint, that there's a meaning. There is always a deep meaning in what I create.
That is beautiful. That's beautiful.
Thank you.
And so there is never an intent, like a from the head intent. Oh, today I'm going to paint this.
There have been, and And those are the ones that don't truly turn out. You know, it's only when I really connect to source and myself where it just flows from me. And when it flows from me, those are the moments when it's finished, where I know that that's the masterpiece that I'm going to be sharing. Other times when I'm really trying, it just something goes wrong and it doesn't turn out.
Mm. And that's such a metaphor for everything in life, right?
It is.
Your paintings, my spiritual healing work. If I think I'm going to offer anybody anything, that would go very sideways, right? It's
Mm-hmm.
about me getting out of the way and being an open channel for that energy to flow through, which
That's
is
right.
what you do as a painter, right? You as you step out of the way and allow source energy to flow through, come through the paint and the paintbrush.
And it's
And
been beautiful as well, because when someone connects with the piece that I've created, it also, I've noticed, you know, over the past 6 months that those people that really connect with it, they can feel what they need to feel in that creation. And it's, yeah, that's part of the most beautiful part of being an artist, is that that connection doesn't just come through, that sorry, that the connection does come through, and that other people also feel it.
it's got to feel very rewarding for sure when
It is.
you see somebody look at it and go, oh, you know, they have that reaction. It touches their heart.
Yeah.
And like I say, it's a metaphor for living life. The more we try, the more we come from this place of what we think should be happening, what we
Hmm.
think we need to be doing, the harder the journey gets.
It's
When we just
true.
relax and go, okay, I thought I was going to be going this way, but everything is pointing to that way. Instead of resisting it and trying to swim upstream, why don't I just turn and go with that flow?
It's true.
And then we
Uh,
have these incredible synchronicities that can happen, right?
Beautiful synchronicities. Beautiful. I've connected with a lot of people whom I never even dreamed I would have the connections, including you. I just, you know, the when you are going with the flow and when you're living from that heart space, the synchronicities just, you know, what you thought before were just, you know, things just happening to you. You actually happen with everything else.
Mm-hmm. That is true. That is true. And you know, the very fact that I invited to be on the show was a synchronicity as well, because I have to be honest, I don't make the time to sit down and listen to every show that Neil and Jamie do. You
Ah,
know, we each have our things, but I, I just felt a really strong calling to watch that day. And there
amazing,
you were. And there I got that message like, this woman has a heart based message to share. Let's bring her on the show.
amazing.
So there is that divine guidance that when we choose to get out of the way of, gives us this path of greater, I'll call it ease and grace.
Hmm. Truly. And I have to share with you that I'm sure some of the listeners have heard of Dr. Wayne Dyer,
Mm,
and part of my heart calling was always this one thing that he said that stuck with me, that kind of reverberated over and over and over again, and it was, "Don't die with your music in you."
yeah.
And that reverberated with me until I recognized that I am singing my music. And it was
Mm,
just this incredible comforting in knowing that I was finally doing exactly what I was supposed to do.
mm. Yeah, yeah. Don't die with your music within you. I've certainly read that line from him many times.
Yeah,
And many other people have said something similar, but there's
sure.
something about saying it in that way that for
Yes,
those of us with creative artistic leanings, that really speaks to.
yeah,
And and most of the people I know who are unhappy in their lives haven't discovered what the music is inside them to be
no,
released.
it's true.
Don't, yeah, don't you find that's true?
Oh, very true. Yes. Even I can even just reflect on that myself. I was ignoring every calling that I had, or every opportunity to recognize that. that, yeah, I was totally, well, you just, I guess you get so caught up in the trying to please everyone and the social, expectations of who we're supposed to be, um, that, you again, you're pushing so hard against the flow that it's just not coming to you. But the moment that you step back and take notice, and then it just kind of comes in waves, and it just flows. It flows so easily.
Yes. Yes. So sometimes it can be helpful. Well, it's always helpful, right? My brain's going in a lot of different directions. I'm trying to say something here. So there is divine guidance, and sometimes that divine guidance comes through people around us.
Hmm.
And so people will show up in our lives. That's what we call a synchronicity. People show up at the right time with the right message, the right opportunity. And if we're not present, if we're not being present to the moment, which is what meditation helps us do, right? You said you meditate before you paint,
I
helps you be
do.
present to this moment so that you can hear spirit.
Yes.
So I invite listeners, viewers to take a moment now and just place your hand on your heart and be present to right here, right now, so that you can hear what we're saying and be with the energy of what we're saying. And do that frequently throughout your day. Just pause for a minute. Just pause. Feel your hand on your heart and be here now. And that allows you to be in the space, to be more present to opportunities and people and situations that present themselves. That if we're hyper focused on, got to get this done, got to get this done, we can miss. You know, my husband always says the whispers of the heart are just that, they're whispers.
True.
Whereas the mind can scream at us nice and loud. So we do need that little bit of quiet space to hear the whisper, to feel the nudge of guidance that says, go that way.
Hmm.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
trusting in your intuition. I think that's something that all of us kind of overlook, because we feel sometimes maybe it's guided us in the wrong direction, but it never will. Intuition will never guide you, and you're guided, intuitively to where you're supposed to go.
Yeah. And many people say, well, but how do you know? How do you know that's really your intuition and not your head? And I say, well, how does it feel?
Hmm.
Right?
Yeah.
If
Yeah.
you feel into it, it feels right.
Yeah.
That's intuition.
Yep.
Yeah.
And the more you feel it, the easier it'll be to know that it's your intuition.
Exactly. So practice, 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 practice. Neil and I have in the past held various develop your intuition. We call them play shops because I don't like the implication of a workshop. We're not there to work, we're there
Mhm.
to play.
No.
And so we offer just simple exercises that people can continue to use at home because intuition is like a physical muscle. The more you use it, the stronger it gets. So just like you're going to pick up some weights and pump those weights to develop strong muscles, you want to use that intuition. Simple. Um, Take a stab. Who's phoning when the phone rings before you even look at the number or listen for the voice announcement? If you have an old fashioned landline like I do, it says, call from do do do. And it says, before kicks in, I think, that's Neil calling. And I go over and sure enough, it is.
Cool.
Play with that. You might be wrong a few times, but the more you tap into that, the more often you'll notice you're right. You are guessing at who it is. And it's not guessing, although it might start out that way,
Yeah.
but the listening in becomes listening to that intuition that's talking to you.
Hmm.
So I'm curious to know if you, as a professional artist, your focus, I assume, is to create beautiful paintings that
It is.
inspire people. Will you be looking at using your art as a way of giving people experiences to experience that kind of expression for themselves or to give them some sense of connection?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
The essence of Spirit Collection was created to to guide people and to that innate connection with nature, and not just nature, to divinity, to know that the moments that we have with nature are, they're a symbol of something that we need to notice in our life. And so I'm just looking at I painted it's called Sacred Spirit, and it was an owl. And that came to me as a spirit guide, that I have an owl spirit guide, but that other people also have spirit guides that are owls, and that the owl was there and coming to me to teach me something in that moment. And that most of the time, the reason that things are showing up, just like our intuition, that there is a guidance with those moments. That there's a divine guidance with each of the interactions we have, even if it's just a millisecond, that if we take notice, there's something there to learn or to inspire us to move us forward.
Mm. And there it is again, the mindfulness, right? If we
Mm-hmm.
notice, you won't notice if you're not paying attention to the
It's
moment.
true. That's
Yeah,
right.
yeah, yeah. I love your presence. You're very, very present with us,
Thank you.
and it, that just speaks to creating a quality life. When and do you find that you were that present when you were in the corporate world, or have you become?
Absolutely not.
Yeah.
No. There was moments, of course, there's moments when you're like, when things go right, and you make a difference, because there's moments in my life where I've made a difference in someone's life, and that was meant to happen. But it's you notice it, but it's never a continuous stream. And still, this is a journey for me. I'm not like, oh, I'm here. There's moments where I'm not present in my life now, like those moments where the painting does not turn out. But that's when you practice that presence, it just becomes so much easier to be that way when you need to be, or when you're supposed to be, because sometimes it's, life can throw a curveball at you and you're like, oh, you get lost in it. But it's always, yeah. And I think the breath is one of the easiest ways to do it. It's just taking that moment to really notice. That connects you instantly. I think I'm sure there's a shamanic phrase that goes along with your breath, but yeah, it's a practice. Again, it's one of those things you have to practice.
Oh, this is exciting. We just got a little hello from Nova Scotia from Heather McLean Campbell.
Oh,
Hello,
great.
Heather. Thank you for joining us this morning. If you have any questions for Adele, feel free to type them in the comments. I can see what you're typing, so we can maybe address that. Otherwise, we're happy to have you be with us and enjoy our discussion. I'm going to come back to my question of, do you see your art as a way of helping people connect with nature, connect with source? Yes, definite. That was a definite
Mm-hmm.
yes.
Yeah.
What I wonder is, I don't know if you've gone in this direction or not. I had to step out for a bit in the conversation that you had with Neil and Jamie, so you may have shared that and I missed it or whatever. But oh, you didn't confess that. She says, I've been with
Yeah.
Adele through this journey. I'm her mom. Oh, that's so sweet.
Yes.
Hi, mom.
Yeah, she's my biggest fan. Hi, Mom.
Oh, it's delightful to have you
Mm-hmm.
join us. Yes, I bet. It is a journey that the
Mm-hmm.
people who love you and are in your life go through as well when we go through a shift like this too, right?
It's true.
Ah, yeah. And sometimes it is a challenging journey, and sometimes it's just a wonderful, supportive journey.
Very much so.
And both aspects can um, offer so much, right?
They
It's
do.
easy for us to be grateful for the moments of ease, of pleasure, of, oh yeah, that feels good. It's a little harder to feel grateful for the moments of friction and butting heads and resistance and all of those. And yet those moments offer us opportunities for growth
They
that,
do.
if we accept and embrace, can just make us stronger, more conscious, more aware, strengthen relationships, gratitude for it all, the good and the bad, the beautiful and the ugly,
Absolutely.
right?
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. Um, Big aside, where I was going with the question was, have you considered having workshops where you take people out into nature and have them attempt a painting experience? I could just see it in my mind's eye, so I'm wondering if you've gone there.
Well, at the beginning of this journey, I never understood. To be honest with you, I didn't understand that I was stepping into the to becoming an artist. It really just not. I don't want to say it just happened, but the on the other side of that, absolutely, I know the healing aspect of nature, and I want to use that to help heal others because art was part of the healing for me going through that difficult time, but also nature was as well. One of the most beautiful moments I had in my journey was taking a moment to be grounded in nature, where I was holding a little bird in my hand, and he noticed me. He did. He took a moment. He turned his head. He stayed with me for a moment. He grabbed the seed and he went away. And that was so healing and so connecting. I never felt more grounded in my whole life. And absolutely, I want to use not just my art, but and not just art in itself, but creativity and
Mm.
the connection with nature as a way to heal others. For sure, that is part of my journey, and I'm starting to, and I am being guided towards that more so now than ever. And especially in your just in your mentioning of it is just another, you know, synchronicity to say this is the direction you're meant to go in. So,
Yeah, it was such a clear picture that came to me of you being
mhm,
out in nature with a small group of people and just helping them experience what you can experience through that.
yeah, yeah.
You know,
Uh,
it's been probably a couple of months now. Kelty and Stan Masters invited me to be on their show and talk about forest bathing. So I had the
Oh,
opportunity. I prepared a little PowerPoint that had a lot of the, not a lot, but a little bit of the science and a lot of information about the benefits and whatnot. And then we just had an open discussion about our experiences of forest bathing, which comes from a Japanese term that means literally to bathe in the forest.
yeah.
So I remember when I first told my niece that I was going to be taking some women out to do some forest bathing, she's like, "What? You're all going to have like a bath in the forest?" And I said, "Well, in a way, yes. Because to have a bath is to immerse yourself in water. We're not going to take our clothes off and immerse ourselves in water, but we are going to immerse ourselves in the forest and be in that
Mm,
nature. So we're not going to have conversation. We're not going to talk to each other. We're going to use all of our senses to be focused and taking in the energy of the forest."
that's beautiful.
And it was, it's been beautiful. I've done several forests. I was doing weekly forest bathing um, uh, gatherings of women specifically in different parks within Calgary. And every experience is so unique.
That's
And
beautiful.
we do, I made this a part of my nurture circles. I have nurture circles for women. And it started off as an evening where women can come together and just to be all about them for a change. Like, don't worry about the kids and the husband and the job and the everything, right? It's just, this is for you. And we'd have different um, guest presenters who would do an interactive activity. So everybody had a new experience. Then COVID hit and we were all in lockdown. And I thought, well,
Yeah.
I'm just going to start taking women out in nature.
Oh,
And now I
good.
don't want to give that up.
No,
I, and
don't.
I think I'm actually going to expand it and maybe take it beyond a woman's nurture circle and just have it be an open invitation to anybody who
Amazing.
wants to come forest bathing. And we'll still do the sharing, because what we would do is always share our experience after. And there's
Wow.
so much beauty that comes from that. Like we would be
Yeah.
in a circle and each person would have their opportunity to share what their experience of this forest bathing was.
Wow.
Powerful, powerful messages,
Yeah.
you know? Um, anyway, so I can see you doing that, and then taking people out, having them explore creativity in nature, and then sharing their experience.
Wow.
So much learning comes from that, so much connection.
Mm.
Oh,
Hmm.
Mom says, in her opinion, it's water and the beach that call to you. Is that true?
Oh, well, I've for sure originally, when I was, because I'm from the East Coast, so the ocean was always there. Yes, but it's really just it's not just that. Rivers call to me now, the trees, forest. Yes, it's all it's all of nature. It's not just it is of course the ocean is incredible, but it's all of it.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, it's just all, it's so grand. And as you say, that's our purest connection with
It
source.
is. It is our purest connection to source. It really, truly is.
Yeah. There's no technology.
No.
There's
And
just,
there's healing. There's healing, like even if you don't need it, when you go out there and you take a moment and you like you said, immerse yourself and bathe in that natural essence, you get it. You get it back. It comes back to you.
yes. Yes. And yes. Is there anyone who can say they haven't experienced some level of peace and
Hmm.
ah, when they've been in
Hmm.
nature? I,
No, I
I can't think of a single person. And oh my, we're already overtime. Holy
Oh,
moly, that went so fast.
that did go
So I
fast.
really would like for people to be able to get a hold of you. So I am attempting to make my mouse work. That's been giving me a little bit of trouble this morning. And if people want to have a conversation with you or get to experience your art right now, they can reach you through Facebook.
That's
So
right.
I've put this on the screen. For those who are listening just to the audio, it's facebook.com/ the number one, Adele with a capital Adele, and a capital C for Campbell. So facebook.com/one Adele C. And November 1st, this is exciting, you're going to be
Very.
launching your website,
Yes.
www.hadelcampbell.com. So tell us what's going to be on the website.
So there will be our conversation will be linked on the website. There will be all of the artwork that I have created will be accessible, and you will have the ability to purchase anything that you're drawn to, and as well as definitely whatever's coming next for me, that will certainly be showcased on the website as well.
Beautiful. Well, if the paintings that are showcased on the website are anything like this beautiful painting that's behind you, I'm excited to see the website and the collection that appears there for sure. And I certainly invite others. I see that there's one more comment, so I'm just going to flip screens. Oh, Sandy, my dear, dear friend Sandy Dacey is watching as well. And she says, beautiful. Love the essence of this conversation. And
Thank
she would,
you.
because she's an artist herself, a vocal
Amazing.
artist rather than a painting artist. But
Wow.
we all create
We
something
do.
beautiful in our own
That's
way.
right. Yeah.
And so we invite everyone who's out there listening or watching to take that to heart. Be in your heart space, be present to the moment,
Mhm.
and know that, yes, you too have something to create. It may not be artistic
That's right.
specifically, but creating solutions or creating magic with numbers and accounting, that these are all ways of creating.
That's right.
Whatever it is that speaks to your heart as an expression of creation, then follow that, and you will experience more joy, ease, and grace in your life. Any closing comments from you, Adele?
Thank you for having me. It's been beautiful.
It has been beautiful. I invite you to stay in the back room. We can have a little chat after we go offline. For now, I'm going to invite our viewers, ugh, to go to our podcast page, um, where, oops, I guess I should take that banner off because it's hiding my address there. So there we go, podcast.bestyoucanbe.ca. There you'll find the last year and a half worth of audio podcasts, and our YouTube channel and our blog page have all the video podcasts from the past. And there's just a ton of beautiful people and inspiring conversations. We invite you to subscribe to the YouTube channel and give yourself free access to all this wonderful wisdom. Ciao for now.